Hello and welcome to an Irish Magician Plays Rainbow Six Siege. Well, it's really an Irish Magician Talks Siege because today we're going to be speaking about the amount of toxicity, well, the amount of things you can do, toxic things you can do. This is an unranked match, so I'm just going to be picking weird operators I don't normally pick. So, if you look at any of the a list of the operators, you have smoke, you can smoke people. You have castle, you can castle the walls of people. You have Valk, where you put the cameras all in the one spot. You have Jaeger, you can put the ADSs in a random place. Capcan, just not put down your traps, so put them in a random place. I'll tell you why, by the way, I'm doing this. After I think about everything. I mean, again, I tried to do this video earlier and I messed up the editing, so it's not like this is completely off the top of my head, but you know, I haven't done a formal list. Obviously with Maestro, you can Maestro people, your own squad mates. Usually,
10 seconds left.
with the barbed wire you can put it anywhere, you know, stupid places,
Down to 5 seconds.
or just not put it at all, I guess. But really, picking the Chanka at one point, our recruits were in ranked, you know, but picking the Chanka was such a meme that it was basically seen as toxic.
Found a bomb. You must defend it.
Yeah, you could look at any of the operators, and you could, you know, well, I'd say a hell of a lot of them have specific, unique ways to troll. You can obviously team kill. You can obviously hack. In PC they hack all the time. Use aimbots and wall hacks so you can see through the walls. And which I don't think Ubisoft have cleaned up. I don't think Ubisoft do enough where that's concerned. I don't even know if they can. But yeah, you can team kill, you can leave, you can severe. I don't think they're in. Yeah, they might be in here then.
Swapping mags!
I don't need
Op
this
4
one.
has placed a diffuser near a bomb. Destroy it. One Op 4 remaining. Located the diffuser. Destroy it. One friendly operator remaining.
Okay, yeah, you can team kill. Obviously, the most prevalent ways of doing it are
Friendly
team
destroy
killing
the diffuser.
and leaving. Leaving is probably the most prevalent way of being toxic. I'm in the middle, actually, I'm in the middle of I'll let you know how it goes, but I'm in the middle of a 10 game, because I always say like approximately whatever percent toxicity has happened in my ranked matches, but I never actually have done a study. I'm going to do like a brief study, and it's going to be just a pool of 10 matches, around the pool of 10 matches. So I've had 2 of them. There was toxicity in both of them, and I've recorded what the toxicity was, just team killing. Loads in the first match, and I think it was all in the opposite team, and then 1 in the second match in the opposite team. So 2 for 2 so far, toxicity wise. So I think people would think that I'm almost trolling, saying 70% of my matches something toxic happens. It's not the case. I am being absolutely truthful. But again, I need to do a lot more specific research to sort of nail down the exact
Op 4
figures.
located a bomb. Protect it.
Yeah, another way of being toxic is you put the guy who shoots out, shoot, kill yourself, or obviously wait for your teammate to wait for your teammate to jump over it and kill them. Shoot them, shoot the shield as they're going over it. You could shoot the gadgets away. You could shoot, shoot
Down to
the
10 seconds.
your teammates' Capcan traps, or
Down to 5
destroy the
seconds.
frost traps, or destroy the Goyo shields, destroy the proximity mine, whatever.
Bomb located by
Destroy
Op 4.
whatever it is. You could shoot at the cameras of your team. Bam, toxic. You could take the diffuser and go up on the roof. And just not play the game. You could just, be AFK. You could just intentionally not play the game. You could teabag. You could kill people and then teabag. You could, what was the other thing I was saying? What was the other thing I was thinking about today? Yeah, I saw. I'm going to call YouTubers out who do toxic stuff. Obviously, smurfing is a massive thing as well. Smurfing is an issue. And I do like Varsity Gaming. He seems like a good lad, but he's obviously very good at the game, whatever, blah blah. I'm not going to try and suck up to him, whatever. Like, he's obviously better than me. That is not very hard, but it just doesn't matter about the skill level. He does do the copper to diamond, on the solar smurf and all that. And that's toxic. There's no question that is toxic. Because what you're doing is you're essentially like going into lower ranks. Because I've heard, I think you can tell when a young person answers a question a lot of the time.
Swapping mags!
Use this gun very well. But yeah, because they'll sort of argue on the basis of nothing. Again, it's not to disrespect. Oh God, it's not to disrespect
I am reloading!
young people or whatever. It's not all young people. I mean, young people they're not experienced to life. They get sort of fooled into thinking things, get manipulated more easier than when you're experienced in life. And so I saw some people arguing, for example, that it's okay, that it's not toxic what Solar Smith, said, for example, with Varsity, because he.
15 seconds left.
Yeah, I thought I heard him there. Because he goes in and he memes, so in other words, he doesn't try hard and he doesn't try his best and all this
5
stuff.
seconds left.
But what you're doing there essentially is you're going into people, like quite often the people in bronze and silver and whatever, they'll just be inexperienced players, or they'll be or they'll just be obviously not as good players. So what you're doing there is that you're going in and you're taking the piss. That's what you're doing. You're basically just taking the piss out of those people. You're doing really stupid things and still getting kills. And make no mistake, Varsity Gaming, the whole point of the copper to diamond thing is to get, obviously, the diamond. He doesn't always do it. I think he gets the platinum most of the time. But you're going through the ranks and you're winning the vast majority of those games. And I've saw him sweat in those matches as well. He sweated in bronze matches, he sweated in silver ones. He'll say that himself. He titles them in the videos himself. So he's done stupid things at times, then he's sweating at times, but even when he's done stupid things, he's better than obviously the vast majority of people in those ranks, because he's just better, but he's still killing them all. Like, he's still getting a very high KD with them all, he'll have like over 2 KD probably on that account, because he's just killing people who are just worse than him, So, I don't, that's a very illogical, if you're going to argue, again, I'm not saying he's a piece of shit or whatever, or people who are Solar Smurf are pieces of shit, but let's just call it out for what it is. I'm sick of people trying to defend, you can like the person, right? You can like the person, and not like the actions, or at least you can think that the actions he does are not horrific, because solo smurfing is not, it's not the worst thing you can do in life. But please don't try and say that it's acceptable because X, and X is a completely illogical fallacy that you've just made up. It doesn't make any sense. And has no basis in reality, you know. Please don't do that. That's so annoying. Like, I mean, people do it in real life about important issues as well. It is so, it fucking pisses me off. You know what I mean? But yeah, there is no justification for it. It is just you're just going in and you're memeing and you're taking the piss out of people who are objectively shitter than you at the game, and it's just like, you know, again, what it does, see, it's actually more fundamental than just that, than just, because yes, you're only going to have to deal with a relatively small percentage of the season, percentage of the matches that you go into, but you're also going to have to, but he is doing it to a lot of people in the season. You know, a lot of people he's basically just losing a game just because he's in the game. You know, like a lot of those solo smurfs, and there are a lot of them around. But it's more than that. It basically helps establish, because he uses very ego-driven language as well. If you watch his videos, you know, he uses language like, in copper you can do this, in bronze you can do that. You know, he uses terminology like that, and what it does is, you know, he's got 1 million subscribers, over 1 million subscribers, and again you'll have other YouTubers who do the same thing. And I'm not picking solely on him, but of course he's got more influence than most people who play the game. And what that'll do is, and so on the, so in a way he's very, very nice, right? And he seems a very pleasant lad or whatever. But in another way, he's being extremely toxic, so people will sort of associate the act with his demeanor. You know what I mean? But in reality, you can split them up. You know, but the way he is, I'm sure on a normal everyday basis, he is a pleasant guy. But got him down. But that's only one. Fucking idiot. Fucking idiot. But in reality, you know, the guy might be nice, but what he's doing is not nice, you know. It's just objectively not nice. There's no argument. It is just objectively not nice. So, but you might think, okay, well, he's just doing it, you know, as I say, you know. Sorry, I'm getting sort of mixed up because I'm fucking playing, because I have went past this point. So basically what he's doing is he's creating an environment, him and people like him are creating an environment where silver, copper and bronze are not even seen as ranks anymore. They're just seen as dumping grounds, you know. They might as well just be casual, you know. And obviously, like, there's a snobbery, you know. I don't care about fucking, if you look at, as far as I'm concerned, and this is controversial. I know this is controversial, but I've never understood the idea that somehow playing on the PC is harder. You can talk about the master race PC as in, like, the PC is better than the console. Of course, that's an objective fact. I mean, anyone who argues otherwise is stupid. No one is saying otherwise. Of course it is. Obviously, you've got hacking and stuff like that on PC, and you've got other stuff, but obviously playing first-person shooters on a keyboard and mouse is better, objectively so. And then you have the frames per second and all that stuff. You can get to whatever frames per second, or you can get to 120 frames per second on the new consoles. And 60 frames a second here, even though it says 83 in the corner, that's absolute bullshit. But 60 frames a second here isn't bad, but like, obviously it's objectively better to be playing in a higher frame rate. But the thing about it is, it's easier. It's easier playing with the keyboard and the mouse and with higher frames than it is on a You know, when you have perfect aim, like for example, it's goofy. It's really goofy to shoot a lot of the time with these weapons on a controller. It's just goofy, and people would be better than
Bomb has
others,
been
obviously.
located.
But shooting a drone for me, it makes it like it's almost like I've got a disability or something. Again, no disrespect to anyone who has a disability, but like, you know, it is sort of, it is very awkward to do that. Oh shit, I fucked it up for fuse.
You have dropped the diffuser.
Jesus Christ, how long is this going?
Reloading.
So, in a way, it's kind of easy mode, isn't it? Like PC. I'm not trying to fucking troll people or whatever, but in a way, it's kind of, it's objectively easier on the PC than it is in console. You know, you couldn't do what you do on the fucking console on the PC. You know, you just couldn't. So is it not objectively easier then? You know, I mean, people don't think about it in those terms. They just think, oh, it's better. Yeah, it's better. But it's also fucking a lot easier. Come on, show me yourself.
One op 4 remaining.
Down here. Oh, nice, nice one.
Op 4 eliminated.
Again, it's I'm not trying to ignite some sort of console PC, but let's get it straight here. Like, you know, people playing console have just as much right to play as people on PC. People put their dicks away. You know what I mean? The reason I don't have a PC is not that I have to justify it. I live in a pretty small flat. I don't want to play on my laptop. So there you go. And I used to have a PC, and it was a pain in the ass getting everything to fucking run properly, whatever. It's probably better now because I was a while back. But it was a fucking pain in the dick. All I want to do is go home, chill out on the couch. I don't want to fucking have to set loads of shit up and things to crash and all sorts of shit, you know, like I used to on the PC. You know what I mean? But people will have different reasons. It's not just, oh, look at the console players, they're fucking stupid, you know what I mean? But there's a snobbery in life. There's always a snobbery hierarchy that people think, you know? Like people think in the UK that the royal family are better than other people. People generally think that. Even people who are from a working class background will think that. It's just bollocks. It's all just made up. It's a fake hierarchy, you know, developed over like centuries ago. And people just fucking believe it because they've been told it, and because, you know, they literally are the biggest, you know, they're the biggest fucking benefit scroungers in the country, and people view them as good because of it, you know. But anyway, that's a different thing. But like, people just believe whatever they're fucking told. I saw it in Northern Ireland growing up, you know. People believe all sorts of shit. You know, people get indoctrinated very easily. So when they get told, oh yeah, over years, oh yeah. So basically, what the community now believe, and definitely, even Ubisoft sort of, you know, have this sort of mindset as well. Console doesn't matter as much as PC. PC will get features that console doesn't. Now part of that is because it's easier to do, and part of it is just because I think Ubisoft don't really give a shit. But Ubisoft certainly don't give a shit about the toxicity on lower levels on console. They don't give a fuck. And maybe it's the same in PC. Maybe it's exactly the same in PC lower levels. Look, let me just paint this like this is a fact. This is not me talking. You know, this is not an opinion. This is a fact. People on bronze level are just as good people as people on plat. You know what I mean? There seems to be this sort of notion that people on bronze don't deserve to play. People on bronze and silver don't deserve to play. Hello. You okay? Oh, you alright? Oh, good. I can't really hear things properly. Yeah, I knew that. I knew she was going to come there. But anyway, I'm trying to concentrate. Yeah, people in bronze have just as much right as people in platinum to play. Whereas people in plat just think bronze is shit, who gives a fuck. You know, I've had people say that to me, smurfs say that to me before. I googled, Rainbow Six Siege tracker. I'll get out of this. I googled a Rainbow Six Siege tracker to do with
Four last operators.
to do with the person who just came in, wiped out all us. I think we were playing on silver. I'm not sure. Don't know what the fuck we were playing on. But he came in and he just wiped us all out. I think quite 2 times in a row. I googled it. He usually plays in Japanese servers, and he was a diamond in Japanese servers. He came over to the European servers. I don't know what we played in American servers. I'm not sure. That's another aspect to do with toxicity, by the way. Why didn't she come in and finish shot? That's confusing. Anyway,
Op 4 eliminated.
yeah, jumping servers is toxic as fuck as well. I mean, again, I've done that. I've done a lot of this stuff, by the way. I've admitted to that, which is why I have personal experience with how easy it is. But yeah, he played in Japanese servers normally, and he just cleaned us all out. And that, and I've had another team who came on. They just basically were toxic. This is a completely different time. I think it was a 3-man or something, and they just came on and they just fucked around. They were obviously better than the rank. And then when I messaged and said stop, like you spoiling these games, and then they said, oh, what do you matter? I mean, basically they threw the game in the end, But it's like, yeah, but it's like, say when Boss City does his 10 placement matches, right? And then he'll throw them in the end, or he'll leave at the end or whatever. But you've spoiled those matches for those people, Like the group of 3 people spoiled the match for everyone else, because it wasn't a competitive game. I come on here for a competitive game. I don't come on here to get platinum. I'd like to get platinum, but I come on here primarily for a competitive match, right? And by Solar Smurfs coming here, you're wasting my time. You're taking the piss out of me, you're wasting my time. And for me, my time is valuable, so there's nothing to debate. It's just objectively toxic. And it's funny because Ubisoft were announcing a range of new measures, and Chris, that's what's his name, they were announcing a range of measures, and he was taking the piss. Oh yeah, I would never, to combat solar smurfing, and he was taking the piss. He was saying, yeah, I've never done that. I've never created a second account and all this stuff, because he knows it's fucked. I mean, he makes too much money from it. But Ubisoft are literally saying that they're going to combat it, but they know that. I mean, like he's done, and other Solar Smurfs have done sponsored content for Ubisoft before. Ubisoft have literally given them money to promote their stuff, like battle passes and stuff, at the start of this season. When you know that the most famous series at Boss City, Boss City without the Copper to Diamond would never have got anywhere near the 1 million subscribers. And a lot of these other people are the same. They've grown because of this sort of content, And it's like, look, I'll be honest, I'm a bit of a hypocrite because I do watch it. It is entertaining, and some of the matches are really competitive, but some of the matches he's literally just fucking extracting the urine, And you can't say it's not toxic. You can't say it's not toxic. I mean, again, being a man or being an adult is not about never being a dick, Like, I'm middle-aged, I'm getting on for middle age now, and I've been a dick fucking millions of times in my life, You know what I mean? I fucked up a lot, but it's about admitting when you fuck up, you know. And it's about not hiding it in flowery language, you know, like childish language, like trying to go around the houses trying to explain something that doesn't, you know, that doesn't hold any water. That's not logical. So it's like, as I said, that's why I admitted I've been toxic in the past. It's objectively wrong. I'm not going to try and defend it. And again, just like these solar smurfers, don't try and hide it. Just own it. Like, if you're gonna be a dick, be a dick. But don't lie about it. That's what's annoying. Like, because they're not like purposely trying to. Well, you know, again, you lie to yourself. A lot of people lie to themselves, and then they'll just lie to other people. They're trying to, you know, like, because it is hypocritical when you're talking about toxicity in games and stuff, and then you're doing the whole series that you have made your name is toxic, you know. So I don't know. I don't think Ubisoft will do anything about it, but I think solar smurfing should be clamped down on way more. Again, I like honesty. I like bluntness, and I think Ubisoft have a lot of flowery language when they speak, you know. And they always speak in broken English because it's like French Canadians or something, and you know, I don't think they have very good command of the English language. And again, that's whatever, you know, because they'll speak what they speak, but it's then becomes more difficult because you know, I think they're doing. I think English will be the second language, most of them. But I mean, I've heard people like from coming from Eastern Europe or whatever, coming to the UK. English is certainly not their first language. It might be the fucking fifth language. You know what I mean? But they speak English very well and coherently and structurally, like almost like an English person would or an Irish person would or whatever that has English as the first language. But the French Canadian, all the people from Ubisoft that I hear speak, they struggle with English, you know, which makes it harder to communicate. It makes it harder to communicate all these things because obviously I only watch other. I don't know. They obviously probably do other French press conferences and stuff like this, but I only hear the English ones. But obviously, the English is the main thing they want to convey stuff in because English is the global language, the main global language, and obviously America is the biggest market, and English is their first language. So, yeah, it makes it hard when they go on and on and on about we want to combat this. I mean, you could have combated toxicity in season 1 or in year 1, you know. Might have taken a couple of years to adjust to stuff. The hacking, I don't know. I don't even know if it's possible to stop hacking, you know. But they're not going to come out and say, oh, well, you know, it's almost impossible to stop it, like, because obviously that would convey the wrong message. You always have to try. But I do get the sense that they're cheap bastards anyway, and that they're not using necessarily the best anti-cheat software that they could. That's just a guess, a pure educated guess based on the cheapo nature of the company. In regards to the toxicity in lower ranks, like, I've already made a video about that, like how to deal with that. I won't go into this again, but it'd be very easy to sort out within a very short space of time if they had the courage to do it, you know. Actually, before I go in here, I wanted to highlight this. I wanted to highlight how many ways there was to be toxic because I was thinking, but two things got me into thinking about it. One, I was playing the other day, and there was an extremely toxic match where, you know, I think there was a 3-man squad, and I won't go into all the details. Just typical bullshit. They didn't want to play. Well, it wasn't typical bullshit. It was it was, you know, extremely toxic game, and you know, 2 or 3 people didn't play properly, and you know, one of them killed themselves in my bullets when I was trying to go for a clutch. When we both were going for a clutch, he killed himself in my bullets. He just walked in front of me. And then the other person, who I don't think was part of the squad, killed me in the next round for some reason. He might have been part of the squad too. And it just got me thinking of, you know, that's another way, like killing yourself on the other person's bullets and then blaming them and not deactivating. There's so many. Honestly, you could be so creative with how many things, and it's just like a lot. You know, one thing I did see Varsity Gaming do in a video the other day was he pistoled one person, and I think he got Ash down or something. It doesn't really matter who it was. He got an attacker down. He stemmed her with Doc and then shot her. I think it was with a shotgun or something. Yeah, I think it might have been yeah, it was shotgun. Cause he was showing off the shotguns in that video. You know, the GIG and whatever it is, shotguns. And yeah, so he stemmed her and then shot her when she was getting up. I mean, toxic as fuck. Objectively toxic as fuck. And he did it. I think it was to bronze people. You know. I mean, how is that not toxic? Please don't defend it. You can laugh if you're a cock. You know, laugh about it. You can. You know, say it doesn't really matter. You can try and do all that. You can say all that, but don't say it's not toxic. I mean, come on. People are intelligent, you know. Even the squad mate who was playing with him said, "Did you just stem him and then shoot him?" You know, and he just like confused. You know, why would you do that? You know, now to be fair, he doesn't normally do shit like that. He obviously just got a wee bit of a rush of blood to the head. But oh yeah, I wanted to show you. But yeah, what got me thinking about it was of that and like how many different ways you could do it. And in Rocket League, say there's about 4 different ways you can be toxic. You can play up the other side, which hardly ever happens. You can be AFK, which does happen. You can leave, which does happen. You know, decent amount of times to be fair. Or you can spam text chat or whatever. Don't know if there's a voice chat as well. Never used it, but you can spam text, which I just turn text chat off. So those are the ways you can do it. Yeah, and again, but there's millions of, you know, there's hundreds of different ways you can do it in Siege, and other ways of doing it in Siege are obviously through the voice chat abuse, racism, homophobia, sexism, all sorts of crap. Or you can text chat on PC, which you can't on console. You can, yeah. I wanted to show the operators. Right, so like a lot of them anyway. You know, another way you could do it is you could just follow your teammate around the place, teabagging, or just follow them around, you know. Another way of doing it is you could pretend you're not in a squad together, and then just play them off, you know, play the other people not in the squad off against each other or whatever. You know what I mean? You could take the piss that way. And that's something we used to do, pretend to not know each other. But yeah, anyway, so you could chuck your thatchers at someone, at your teammates, chuck your EMP grenades, you could ash someone. And again, even within the ash thing, there's quite a lot you can do, you know. You can wait till someone's climbing up a ladder and ash them up the ass, or you could fucking ash them when they're rappelling. There's loads of different ways you could do it, you know. You could ash them when they're just about to put down the diffuser. You could millions of different ways. With Rook, well, I get to Rook anyway. With Thermite, obviously, I don't know. You could, yeah, not really. You could obviously shock drone people. You could obviously just like shoot people a couple of times, stand behind your shield. You could fuse your teammates on purpose. You could blitz. That used to be a meme. You know, you could fuse your own teammates. Everyone's fused their own teammates at some point. But who uses fuse? Blitz, obviously you could blind people with blitz, or ying, or flash grenades. Or you could smoke your own teammates. Mavic, you can obviously torch people, but that's not a massive thing. Sophia is a big one because it lets you aware of certain things. So if you get the team kill marker against your name, you can still Sophia people once or twice. I don't know if they fixed that, but that used to be a thing. You can see them with Ash. They give you a certain amount of leeway because they expect some sort of some accidents, you know. So Ash and especially Sophia were ones that you could just get away with. And by the way, they only brought in all that team killing thing a couple of years ago, not even. So there was 3 years or more where there was literally nothing like that, no team killing system whatsoever. Anti-team killing thing. You obviously Ying person, as I said, you could fire Hibana things at people, you could Hibana the wrong wall, you could fucking just not use your Hibanas, or you could die, you know. I don't know. You chuck your stuff off the roof, that's another one. That's another popular one that's it's hard to be toxic. Capitan, you can Capitan your teammates, but I have got chucked out of games before by Capitaning. You get banned for that pretty easily because they don't accept an accident. I've done that for some reason. I mean, I've done that by accident and got chucked out. Ayana, I suppose you could follow your people around with the replicator. Ash, you could chuck Nash at people. Zero, you could do his gadget at people. Floyd, you could do his gadget at people. Smoke, you could smoke your own players. The castle is toxic as fucking low ranks anyway because people don't use them properly. They just castle stupid things. But you know, because like there are tactics you can use with castle, like mute interacts pretty well with castle. And I'm sure there's quite a few things you can do in the higher ranks. Sometimes castle's used properly in low ranks, but not much. But castle, yeah, I mean you barricade and everything. That could be another toxic thing if you know that it's wrong, which it is obviously stupid. Dark, you could obviously not stim pistol your teammates when they need it. You could stim pistol yourself 3 times for no reason, or you could just stim pistol nothing, or you could fucking just not use them. Rook, one thing we used to do is we used to just go as a team halfway across the map, get the rook armor, and then just shoot the rook armor. Or you could just not put the rook armor out, or you could just purpose, or you could just put the rook armor out and then shoot it straight away. To Janka now, you can obviously get your teammates, but you could probably chucked out of the match quite soon for that. But you could flame your teammates. As I said, Val, you could put all the cameras up in stupid places. Clash, again, you could be toxic with a shield, of course, and you could, I don't know if you can electrify your own teammates, I think, as well. You could just shoot them and then hide behind the shield or whatever. You can chuck your alibis at people, I guess. Maestro, you can evil eye your own teammates. Legion, you can chuck the goo mines at people. Black Mirror, I mean, one thing I used to do is I just used to go and mirror 2 random things in the middle of nowhere. You could shoot your team's mirrors if you wanted to do that. Echo obviously is a big one. You could just echo the fuck out of your teammates. Go, you've already explained. You get the. I don't know if you can do anything with the Rooney. You get the gist. And a lot of operators, well over half you can do stuff with people. And that's just the operators themselves. Never mind all the other stuff you can do. I'll play another unranked game quick. Might not be able to fit it in properly, but you get the point. There's a lot of stuff you can do, and you can be very creative with it. So it's kind of fun for people to do that, and so it needs to be stopped. I think it's because there's so much interaction you can do, so many different ways you can do it, and you can kind of play and kind of be toxic at the same time. There's a lot of different variants to it, and a lot of different flexibility to it, to the amount that you want to be toxic. Most of it, obviously, as I say, is just people leaving games or shooting people in the back of the head or whatever. But there can be a lot of other stuff. Shooting drones, that's one thing I've had twice recently. People have just shot my drone at spawn for no reason. When I was trying to get it back, they have a second drone to go in with. Weird, that's a weird one. But yeah. But I had a game earlier, which I'm not sure I'll put up because I got a wee bit triggered, because there was one guy went in with the diffuser in the middle of nowhere, got shot. That's that round fucked. One person put the one person. It was 2v1, about 30 seconds to go. We were the attacking team on kids in Oregon, and we were attacking that position. We were attacking Capcan behind the beds. Just behind the main window. So all we had to do is methodically go in and snipe them or whatever, or hold the angles, or go around the corner, peek around the corners slowly and kill him. But what the Twitch did was she chucked a smoke grenade in and then just ran into the smoke. She chucked, because the diffuser was beside him and he was by the window. So she chucked a smoke grenade and then just suicided because she just maybe again rush of blood to the head, just ran into the smoke. Obviously Capcan killed her, and that's the round fucked. Because I couldn't see anything with the smoke either, couldn't see Capcan with the smoke either, so I don't know what the fuck the plan was there. So that triggered me. And then another thing was someone planted someone planted in small dorms and then went to the big window. She couldn't look at the fucking, she had no angle on the diffuser. She got shot, and then I had to go in fucking, obviously, so there was three absolutely catastrophic, absolutely stupid mistakes. But we still won the game, but I don't know if I'll fucking upload it. I don't think I will. I don't really want to upload stuff, just complain constantly. But just going back to the topic in hand, like, I was going to make it a separate video. Do you think copper, and do you think solar smurfing is toxic? But yeah, this video will do for that as well. I think the bottom line is, again, I might not have enough time to finish this. I only have 20 minutes left on this video. But the bottom line is, Ubisoft don't do anything. They're useless. They are. Again, you can say what you want about Ubisoft. They obviously have supported the game. Listen, the problem I have with all these companies, and again, it's not about railing against capitalism, whatever. I've benefited a lot from capitalism, but the problem with it is, I cannot like people who just do things for money. I can't. I'm not saying I blame them necessarily, but I can't like them. I can't really trust them. I can't really give a shit about those people, And obviously, big companies are just they're basically the archetypal. You cannot believe a word they fucking say. They're just politicians. And some people say some honest stuff. Some people say some really stupid stuff, like CD Projekt Red. But you can't believe a word they say. Some things are going to be true, but a lot of it's going to be just out and out lies, or misleading, or just non-existent. Just waffle. And Ubisoft have talked a lot of shit over the years. But when people are defending Ubisoft and saying they're supporting their game, like, let's think about that, right? I mean, I've talked about that in the State of Siege video, where I go into basically the main gist of that was they need to sort out the toxicity, and they've obviously reduced the amount of content vastly from where they started, and which I still stand beside. Obviously, it hasn't changed since I did that video, because it wasn't that long ago, and it probably won't change, even if it's years in the future. But the bottom line is, the main thing is the toxicity, because the core of the game is great, The toxicity wrecks it. And again, I made another video about how competitive is Siege, and in my rank, bronze or silver in console. It's not competitive, because how can you be competitive whenever 70% of the time people are doing toxic stuff? That's not a competitive environment. You need at least over 90% of stuff. Because again, I equate it to professional sportsmen. If in the Premier League in England, people were just fucking around for like 70% of the time. Sometimes people just walked off. Sometimes people just stood still and did nothing. Would that be considered a competitive environment? I mean, would it? Fuck. Over 70% of the time. That's not a competitive environment, people. I mean, no matter what way you want to dress it up, that is not a competitive environment. You can still get some competitive. You can still get some competitive element from those games. It depends how toxic it is. The toxicity from the game I was talking about before, where there was loads of team kills and stuff. There's no competitive element to that whatsoever. That's just a mess. But in a lot of these games where just one person leaves, or two people get team killed or whatever, yeah, you can still get something from that, but it's not a competitive environment, And a lot of the times when it's so bad that a lot of the time when if you fuck up a clutch or something, you're just waiting to be fucking slapped in the back of the head, slug in the back of the head, You're just waiting for it, like. And again, that's not really conducive to playing good.
Op 4 has located a bomb. Be ready for hostile action.
And it's not really paranoia, because it happens so much. It's legitimate sort of concern, Just go back to, again, I'm not trying to pick on Varsity or whatever, but, that whole thing about just making bronze and copper a laughingstock, and he helps facilitate that. That is, it's not going to stop, obviously. And I think that is that sort of attitude. Maybe it would happen without the YouTubers, but I doubt it. I think that sort of thing, because people, I think without that sort of thing, a lot of people wouldn't be really conscious of the differences. They just wouldn't play in bronze. They'd know bronze was kind of a shitty rank or whatever, or what they saw as a shitty rank, but they wouldn't look down on it so much. You know, it's just another rank that people play, and that's all it is. You know, it's not some mystical fucking rank that's just, you know, it's not that it's a bad rank. It's just it's not your rank. You know, it's no more. As I said, it's not anymore. Damn it! It's not anymore. I kind of stopped for some reason. It's not anymore illegitimate than your rank. You know, it's the same. It's just a lower rank. You know. The people look at it like some sort of weird thing. Oh, I'm in copper, I'm in silver. This is just a waste of my time. It's not a waste of your time. You know, if you can get a competitive match with that, then there's no shame in it. It's like you shame people into thinking there's something wrong with them, wrong with their siege. Like it's like, you know, and I find myself doing this in my Rocket League videos and stuff. It's like, oh, that's shit or whatever. But it's like, you know, oh, that's whatever, good. That's good for this rank, whatever. It's just good for me. It's good. I mean, if I score a goal in a Sunday League team, I'm not going to say, oh, it's good, but it's shit compared to a Premier League team, am I? Not everything has to be compared to elite level shit. You know. You can have fun within your own ecosystem, and before the internet happened, people did. You know. People just fucking enjoyed themselves a lot more playing within their own skill levels and stuff. The internet has made that sort of thing really toxic, and I think a lot of younger people who haven't grown up, who don't know what life's like without the internet, sort of they kind of buy into all that crap. Where, you know, unless you're the elite of something, then you're shit. You know, or that your experience isn't valid. You know what I mean? If you have having an ego about something, like say for example that Varsity does, it's not a bad thing in and of itself. I think when you get to a good level at something, which he obviously is, then, you know, ego will serve your performance. But I think you got to sort of check yourself sometimes, you know. I mean, when that gets to the idea that when that gets to the point where you're shitting on other people because you're better than them, that's where the egos kind of cross the line, you know. But the ego itself, everyone has an ego. It's just you need to keep it under control. You know, people can be very, very egotistical about some things and then really unconfident about other things. But often the high, you know, like a high ego, you know, is compensating for something else. That's just basic psychology, you know. If someone appears overly confident, they probably, you know, the most confident people do not appear. They're just relaxed. They don't appear overly one way or the other about something. You know, if someone's really preening about something or whatever, preening about how good looking they are and stuff, and really making out like they're probably insecure about it, you know. And I'm not suggesting that there's only insecurity there with Varsity. I think Varsity seems like a very nice guy. He, you know, he's obviously good at the game, but I do think the whole premise of obviously Copper and Diamond is toxic as fuck. Of course it is. I mean, it's a bit like me playing in a fucking, you know, playing against school kids and stuff in football or something, and just running rings around them, and then think, oh, look at me, I'm good, aren't I? You know, oh, look, I'm taking the piss. See, that's the thing. If you equate that in any other part of your life, right, where you're going in and taking the piss, you know, because of people who are worse than you, you know, again, he won't see it like that, and other people won't see it like that, but that's exactly what it is. Just because he doesn't see it like that doesn't mean that it's not true. The intent is not that, but the actual reality is that. And you know, you're basically fuck's sake, where are you running to, Dick? Why didn't that pop off out there?
Op 4, last
Um,
operator standing.
But anyway. This is fun, this one. What time are we on? 50 minutes. Yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, it's not about the intent always, all the time. It's about the reality, and in any other facet of life, you equate the same things. So if I'm really, really good at mathematics, and I'm going in sort of showing off in front of other people, it's not really accepted. It's antisocial behaviour essentially, and that's what smurfing is. It's antisocial behaviour, and it needs to stop, but it won't, of course. And Ubisoft won't clamp down on it. Now it's hard to completely stop, of course, but whenever there's prominent YouTubers literally having hundreds of thousands of views per, I mean, he's not exactly hiding it, is he? Like, and they're not doing anything about it. And they said that they're going to do stuff about it, but if they don't touch, you have to make an example of the biggest people who do anything. You know what I mean? If the biggest offenders of people, you have to make an example of them. And if they don't touch Boss City Gaming and they touch someone else, well, that's just objectively unfair. Just because they're making money out of it, it just makes a mockery of any sort of implementation of any sort of policy that they fucking adopt. It's just a joke. And that's the way I look at Ubisoft. Really, they're just the corporate. The corporate people who just do what's financially viable and financially good for them at the time at any given point. So I can't take them seriously, and I can't respect that. How do you respect that? Again, you can sort of say, well, that's just life. Well, that's just the reality of the corporate world. But what you can't do is, or what you don't have to do is respect it. Anyone who's just motivated by money is a soulless shell of a person or a soulless shell of a company, But yeah,
Reloading my ammo.
I just thought it'd be interesting just to go around and show
Friendly disabled the diffuser.
the mighty different. I mean, I've definitely missed a lot of the toxicity stuff you can do in this game. I've definitely missed. Obviously, you can shoot other gadgets. What else can you do? Yeah, you can go up on the roof, just do nothing. You can chuck yourself off the roof. Said that you can. And that's all of what I've just said. That's unintentional, but there's the stuff that I mentioned where someone just brings the diffuser in and just gets killed in the middle of nowhere. That often happens as a result of just crap play. But that just feels toxic. There's a lot of stuff that feels toxic. When you look at people sometimes, and when people look at me sometimes, or whatever, at the end of a round, and they think, how the fuck did that happen? How the fuck was he so shit? But it's not me trolling, it's just me being shit. And it's just like, so there's a lot of stuff that's unintentional, but it almost feels intentional because it's so crap, But all the other stuff that I was talking about, it was on the basis that obviously people were doing it intentionally. And so there's a lot can happen in a game. Like, there's not really a lot that can happen in Rocket League that's really trollish. I mean, there's one other way actually in Rocket League. You can explode people, or you can just go to take people out constantly. That's actually one of the main reasons that people are toxic. But there's not that many interactions in the game of Rocket League, unless you're doing that specifically, that will make you feel as if it's all just bullshit and people are just fucking around or whatever. But there's absolutely hundreds of ways that in Rainbow Six that can happen, and that's one of the major issues, I'm not even fucking playing properly anyway. So this is unranked, isn't it? Hopefully. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the problem, because you can be triggered at any point, and people are, you can just see. You can see the fucking, when the red mist goes down to people sometimes in this game. You know what I mean? It's just like, they're ready to pop off, they're ready to team kill, or they're ready just to leave. Try and win this 4-0 now. And when you look at like some of the stuff, Get Flanked again, very entertaining, good YouTuber. But when you look at some of the
Op 4, last stop standing.
so yeah, it's very like by basically of a YouTuber, it's very muted, you know. Excuse the pun, pick and mute, but it is very muted in the criticisms because they want that money. They want that. It's in. He's in. Where is he now? No, I don't think he would be dead now, wouldn't he? Maybe.
Op 4 eliminated. Successful.
Yeah, you know, Get Planked says, he said in a video the other day, I think one of his most recent ones, where he makes videos criticizing Ubisoft, but he doesn't really. It's very muted ones, and it's very flowery language again. It's not direct. I don't like people who don't speak direct. I don't like it when people don't speak direct, because it's just gameplay, and then, isn't it? And of course, you know, you can understand it from a business point of view. I think some YouTubers, if you're making PewDiePie money, it doesn't matter. You can go rogue, you know, a wee bit. But when you're making Get Blank money, I don't know how much he makes, but he's got a family and stuff. I think, you know, it's a business. He needs to cozy up to the fucking to Ubisoft. But you know, well, that's what he feels like he has to do. I don't know if he does or not. He could probably do it independently anyway. He would lose some money though, that's for sure. But you know, it means that you can't necessarily fucking take what he says seriously. You know, because again, when all that sort of bias factor is taken into account, you can say that no one's unbiased, but and that's what people say to kind of try and sort of cover themselves. Oh yeah, but no one's unbiased, you know. But that's dishonest. There's different levels, and for me, you know, you can say that I'm biased because of A, B, and C or whatever, because I'm in lower ranks in a console and I'm getting particularly shot on by, you know, whatever. But you can say all that shit, but I have no monetary interest in anything I'm saying. Like, I'm not doing it because of monetary reasons. You know what I mean? The only reason is to try and to say my honest opinion on the game, whether you agree with it or not, and whether my experience reflects yours. The only reason I'm doing it is to to vent and to try and give solutions, and to try and but just to say my honest opinion. I have no financial gain one way or the other in this. I'm going to just suicide because I'm going to have to go here. So yeah, take it easy.